Hello there, good people. Welcome to It's a Shaw Thing. I'm your host, Rob Shaw. We're here to talk a little fantasy football today. Of course, we're going to start off with who's moving up, who's moving down, and on that note, Jets versus the Dolphins. Clearly, the Dolphins moving up, the Jets moving down, and we start at the quarterback position. Chad Pennington, the castaway from the New York Jets, was fantastic in this one, completing 73% of his passes. That's nothing new for this guy. He's all about accuracy. He threw for 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Of course, Jets fans for years have been complaining about that weak arm of his. Well, he went on and threw for 3,000 more yards than ever before. Pennington is simply a very efficient quarterback who gets the job done. He's a safe option, and that's what the Dolphins needed, and perhaps that's what the Jets needed as well. Brett Favre went out there, and, well, he was just awful the past couple of games. In fact, over the past 5 games, 2 touchdowns compared to 9 interceptions, 22 touchdowns, 22 interceptions throughout the season. Brett Favre seems to have been out. Maybe retirement was a good idea. Should have stuck with it. Did not look very good for the New York Jets, and for that reason, their coach gets fired. All is lost. Maybe Matt Castle's up there, but I'll tell you what, if I'm the Patriots, I'll lock him up and make sure he doesn't get anywhere close to the Meadowlands, aside from wearing the Patriots jersey. Next up, we're talking at the running back position. Moving on up, Michael Bush. 24 years old, he's a running back, 27 carries, 177 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns this past game. About 120 of it came in the fourth quarter. Now, this is a deal with the guy. He's 6'1", 245 pounds. Will he ever be an elite number 1 running back? No, I don't think so. But if we've seen one thing this season in the NFL, it's the fact that teams have realized that they're best off splitting their backfield. I like the idea of a McFadden-Bush tandem for years to come. Look for them to lock this guy up and to let Fargas leave. As far as a guy who's getting a little old a little too quickly, Jamal Lewis. Now, sure, he did get his 23 carries for 94 rushing yards, which allowed him to get that 1,000 mark. He finishes the year with 1,002 yards, but the efficiency is not there. 3.6 yards per carry is not getting the job done. That's less than about 0.8 from a year ago, and also just 4 touchdowns this year compared to 11 last season. Jamal Lewis seems to be on his way out of Cleveland. They might have to start from the ground up. Next up, we're talking about the wide receivers. One guy moving on up these days, one of those undrafted guys, Lance Moore, just 25 years old for the New Orleans Saints. He was fantastic in the finale. 8 receptions, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. Get accustomed with the touchdowns. He had 10 of them this year, 928 receiving yards. I don't think he'll ever be a number 1 guy, but he seems to be a solid number 2. So if Marcus Colston could get healthy and stay healthy, him and Moore could be the future at wide receiver for the Saints. As far as a guy who's clearly a part of the past, and for you Gator fans, I'm sorry about this guy, Darrell Jackson. He was once one of the elite wide receivers in the NFL, but things have gotten bad very quickly. He played just 12 games this year. He's always been injury prone, but he usually had a couple of big games. Not the case this year. 12 receptions in those 12 games, 190 yards, just 1 touchdown. That's it. No longer a lead receiver. This guy might be out of the NFL by next season. Darrell Jackson clearly on the way down. That's all your fantasy football news for now. If you have any questions, always email us, fantasy@opensports.com.
For more great videos, check back every day on opensports.com.